Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Committee Reads. I am your host KWCs and with me today I have Greyshot, GVR, and Nagoda. And today we will be going over match 163, Baragon vs. Ultraman by Tiago Cardosa. It was a quiet and calm night in London. There should be an in there, or whatever.
Yeah, oh boy.
A warm wind bathed the area in the famous Big Ben, an iconic symbol all over the world, stood proudly. But today that would change. The mighty building began to shake, and so did the ground around it. People ran in fear as the floor cracked and the foundation gave way, falling into oblivion. Something else emerged, letting out a mighty roar. A behemoth of destruction showed his face to the world of man. Yes, Baragon, the behemoth of destruction. Baragon observed the impressive city lights and saw a feast waiting for him. The creature slowly made his way out of the ground to inspect the fleeing people. He hated having to go after his food. After smashing some cars, Baragon brought his mouth down on a small crowd, eating part of the pavement, swallowing dozens of people. The beast gulped down the mangled confusion of metal and flesh before he belched fire on what remained of the palace of Westminster. As the crowds flooded the streets, one man remained seated at his tea shop, taking a final sip from his cup. A 50-year-old Japanese man wearing a brown jacket and jeans with black shoes looked on at the destruction. His name was Shin Hayata, and what he was witnessing he knew all too well. Placing his cup down, the old man rose and reached into his left pocket, pulling out the beta capsule and lifted it above his head. Within seconds, he was covered in a bright light. Baragon smashed through the building surrounding him with blissful ignorance until a meal entered its view. A bus caught the monster's attention, so the beast placed its mouth close to the ground and opened wide, waiting for the vehicle to simply drive into it. It was then, out of nowhere, a giant made completely out of light grabbed the bus and placed it on a safer street. Baragon looked up as the light vanished. He saw Ultraman standing between him and the rest of the city. Pass.
Ultraman was quick to act and went for a spinning kick, hitting the subterranean monster right in the lower jaw. The beast howled in pain and took a few steps back, firing his heat beam wildly from the pain. Ultraman quickly summoned his barrier to stop the barrage, but as the rays ended, a smoke screen filled the area. The hero warily walked through the haze merely for a low growl to echo and Baragon to lunge through the smoke screen. Ultraman barely rolled out of the way, causing Baragon to angrily crash into some nearby structures. As the beast recovered, he felt Ultraman land right on top of him. Baragon roared in pain and anger as Ultraman's right arm wrapped around his neck. Punches started striking his snout, but the dinosaur was not going to go down that easily. Baragon got up on his hind legs and leapt backward, smashing the hero under him. Ultraman let out a painful grunt as the kaiju rolled onto all fours, but the hero did not let go. Baragon let loose an irritated growl at the hero's perseverance and crunched his jaws around his left arm. This time, Ultraman yelled. Ultraman rolled in front of the beast and began furiously punching Baragon in the face, but even under such fury, the monster was not going to let go. The beast's jaws were like steel, and they would not let this prey get away. After a sixth punch, Ultraman stopped and went for a more drastic solution. He raised his hand in the air and brought it down with all the power he could muster on Baragon's head. Pass.
As contact was made with the kaiju, Baragon roared with immense agony while Ultraman shuffled away. Baragon watched his horn fall to the ground, and as it struck the pavement, he moaned with irritation. He had lost too much for little return. The monster turned his back on the Ultra and ran back to the hole he originally emerged from. The red dinosaur jumped into the air to dive into his emergency hole merely for a beam to discharge underneath him. The energy burst detonated around the hole, causing it to collapse as Baragon landed. The monster looked back at Ultraman with its teeth threateningly displayed. No, if this giant wanted to fight, then Baragon would end him. He was not a scared animal. He would fight back. Cue Curb Your Enthusiasm theme as Baragon dies in text. Leaping in the air, Baragon landed on top of Ultraman, and the beast unleashed several slashes and bites upon the hero. One such bite managed to strike the color timer, causing it to blink red. Ultraman let out an alarmed grunt and kneed Baragon in the gut, causing the beast to fall over on his back. Getting back to his feet, the fighter grabbed the monster's hind and front right legs and used his amazing strength to lift Baragon up from the ground. The pair began to spin, and as the attack ended, Ultraman watched Baragon fly straight into the Thames River. The Ultra looked over the water, waiting for Baragon to emerge. As the silence fell, only the color timer could be heard, and the hero for a second let out a sigh of relief that the terror was over, but his foe held other ideas. Baragon erupted from the body of water and charged at the giant of light. Chirped. That's what I almost said. Ultraman braced for impact, but the Kaiju outsmarted him with a slap across the face with its tail, sending Ultraman colliding into the nearby pier. Baragon let loose an angry roar before charging at him once more. Being a seasoned fighter, this trick would not affect him, so he looked right at Baragon and delivered a powerful punch to the place where the beast's horn used to be. Baragon roared in anger and rose to meet Ultraman's height. Pass.
Okay. Energy. Oh, Ultraman. Yeah. The stub of Baragon's head pulsated with immense light. Then, Baragon fired his heat ray. Ultraman discharged just the two attacks collided, causing the left flat. Yet as the light faded, Ultraman stood unharmed as Baragon's head fell from the stone. With victory achieved, Ultraman looked over the landscape of thunder and beheld the body of the dead Kaiju. Sensing his time to be at an end, he looked up into the sky. Then, to inform humanity and continue to protect them, a familiar phrase echoed. Shuach, winner, Ultraman.
Yes, winner Ultraman. Yeah, no. Alright, no, this is a decent, fun little match. Possible homage to the idea that Ultraman has fought like many Baragon lookalikes, so, this is it's not too insane, but at the same time, it's like, if you get it, cool beans.
There's like 3 or 4 monsters in the original Ultraman. They're just the remade Baragon suit.
Yep. So Baragon was given a makeover a bunch of times, and it was fine. So I guess in a way you could say it's appropriate that Baragon has fought Ultraman. That is a very appropriate assessment.
Yes.
But yeah, no.
Also, he kind of sized well for Baragon, because Baragon, I think this was before we updated all the sizes.
Yes.
But even then, Baragon is actually, because I did the scaling, Baragon's actually pretty big for Ultraman, because Ultraman's a rather small figure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because he was only 45 meters, I think. And I kind of used Frankenstein as a reference.
Mm-hmm. Something like that, yeah. So, yeah, to be fair, a lot of the Baragon modified monsters were pretty girthy compared to Ultraman, so, yeah, no, it was appropriate. It was appropriate.
Yeah, generally Ultraman is like outsized a good bit by his enemies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because, in the original show, he's 40 meters.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the redone version, like the updated version, Frankenstein is 80 meters and Ultraman is 85. So we'd be like slightly taller than Frankenstein, who was already like, Baragon got some good heft on him. So I kind of wanted to bring that over to the banner because I'm the one that made this one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, I mean, they're about relative size anyway, so it's like, yeah. But yeah.
That sounds about right. They're both humanoid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a decent frame of reference. But match itself is, I think it's well told. It's a very simplistic match. It doesn't have like too much filler to get to the meat of it. The meat of it's simplistic, but simple is fine. So we don't need a situation where Ultraman has to use every single ability of his. Something like this is perfectly acceptable.
Baragon.
And then, Baragon. Just Baragon being Baragon, as you should.
Well, I mean, I'd say, like, we don't need Ultraman to be using all his powers because it's Baragon.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Fair. So, yep.
Like, when you're fighting dudes like Red King and Gomorrah, Baragon's not exactly out of your wheelhouse.
Oh, right. So, but yeah, with that said, I think with all that said, very simple match. The banner, I like the composition to the banner. It's nice and dynamic. the biggest issue. I guess if 162 had King Caesar's the issue, this one has Ultraman as the issue. And it's not even just because of the quality of the figure, it's the fact that the figure has a lot of open joints that becomes apparently distracting. I remember that being a very avid criticism to when the time this came out. So
No, yeah, agreed. I kind of looking back, I wish I kind of blended it at all, because the pose is so good of Ultraman like running through the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I love all the effects through it. Like I really tried to bring out the color in this. So like Baragon's horn, the background, like I really tried to bring out the color. Just Ultraman. If I could have colored those joints, I think this would have been like a 9 out of 10 banner.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. Otherwise, for the match itself, I honestly like it. It's a pretty good just back and forth rumble, and it doesn't really repeat itself. Like what you would expect the finisher to be happens relatively early on, which is Ultraman, hitting Baragon's horn and breaking it, which was surprising, honestly, because most people use that as like the finisher, but this kind of uses that as just the opening salvo of moves.
Yeah.
But yeah, it captures the characters well. I think Baragon is a destroyer, maybe not so much, but as a solid KWC, this is definitely it. And this actually I liked a little bit better. Maybe it's because of what we've been reading, but I think I have a positive outlook on this match.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Net positive for this one.
Yes. I don't think it's anything special. I think it's probably like a 6 out of 10, where it's like it's good and it's a little bit better than the average. But yeah, the banner has an issue, and it doesn't do anything spectacular or amazing, so it kind of is held back in that regard.
It's not going to like stick in your mind after you're done reading it, but you're going to have a fun time while you read it.
Yep.
I do know when this came out, because I remember this was the final match of the year. This was a December match.
Yeah.
This banner I always, for some reason, I just associate with December. I don't know why. It's irrational, but it's just because it was made then.
Yep. GVR, what do you think of the match?
I liked it. Yeah, just I can't really say too much that Greyshot didn't say. It's a very simple and fun match.
And I assume that carries over the banner too. That's like everything's.
Oh yeah, the banner. No, I really like the banner. I like the composition and like the color popping and all that. Yeah, just the issue is just the joints on the Ultraman figure. Because that is a super good pose. Works perfectly for the banner, but just it's so clearly a toy.
Nagoda, what'd you think of the match?
He is cleaning glass.
Right. I see. He is doth muted. So, with that said, this has been match 160.
Hello?
Oh, Nagoda's back. All right. What do you think of 163?
Had to meet here. I had a Baragon that the banner, you can see the joints on all of the Ultraman. It bugs me. The joints bug me. Otherwise, it's a really good banner. Like if you just got rid of the joints, it'd be nice. So a good match, almost good banner, and pretty fun. Yeah.
All right. And yeah, with that said, this has been match 163, and we'll see you guys next time for, oh boy, the game changer. Oh boy.
164.
Yep, 164. Right next door, coming to you real soon. So till then, everyone, wish us luck. In the meantime, see you guys next time.
That's gonna be a lot of fun for the voices.